present to you Ulysee Desporte, born in 1861, died 1927. Mr. Desporte was the grandson of two very important Biloxi figures, Ulysee Desporte, other known as Jacques, and John Chevalier Delaunay, both of whom were very courageous in carving up their histories in mastering their destinies. Their grandson, Ulysses, or other known as Leo, was a very industrious man who set his mark on Biloxi as we know today.
I'm proud to say that I'm a first-generation Biloxian of French descent. My grandfather Desporte, the name in French means gatekeeper or protector of the city, came with his father and mother to New Orleans in the early 1800s. Later in life, he had a residence in both Biloxi and New Orleans. I'm the son of his son, Victor. My grandfather Delaunay escaped Paris in the midst of the French Revolution and made his way into America by way of Philadelphia and eventually made his way south. You're probably questioning my clothing choice, and I can't blame you. This isn't what I wore to the Desporte Oyster Factory or to a Harrison County Board of Supervisors meeting. I was among the founding members of the Biloxi Carnival Association, which later became known as Gulf Coast Carnival Association. I have the distinct honor to have been King Auguste IV in 1915. Gulf Coast Carnival is now in its 100th year of operation. Amazing. Of course, the king is no longer known as Auguste, but as d'Iberville. Fitting. Very fitting. But enough about Mardi Gras. Let's talk about my true passion, the sea. If there was one thread of continuity in my life, it was water. Water was a part of it all. My hobby, my dreams, my passion, the sea. But my nightmares were of the sea as well. Water can be life-giving, but it can also be life-taking. I'm proud to say that I made my livelihood off of the beautiful Mexican Sea. Well, that's what we called her back in my day. Nowadays, I believe you refer to her as the Gulf of Mexico. At any rate, I owned and operated a seafood factory on Back Bay and also what you would call Front Beach. The Desporte Oyster Factory at the foot of Lemieux was one of the largest oyster shippers in the United States. My wife Sophie Kuhn and I worked side by side, and we employed as many as 200 people. It profoundly pleases me to know that members of the Desporte family are still prominently involved in the seafood industry in Biloxi today. I owned many, many schooners, including the Ernest D, built by Jack Kovacevic, the Evelyn Desporte, built by Anson Hawley, and the Emma Harvey, built by Casimir Harvey. Now that ship was the source of many sleepless nights for me. Just the thought of the loss of those decent, hard-working men, all in one fell swoop, saddened me deeply, and permanently. Of course, there were other losses, like the storm of 1909 that took the schooner Clementine and made kindling out of her. Of course, her crew was lucky. They climbed aboard the Bay St. Louis Bridge and rode out the storm, all except for one poor soul who was washed off the bridge and drowned. But the storm of 1909 was nothing compared to the hurricane of 1916 that took the captain and crew of the Emma Harvey. But as violent as water can be, that's just how majestic and beautiful she can be as well. There's nothing quite like that feeling of floating, gliding along the surface of the water, edging out your opponent just in time to win the regatta. My catboat, forgive me, I've been dead a long time. My catboat, the Evelyn Desporte and I won the regatta in 1909, and what a day that was. I was among the founding members of the Biloxi Yacht Club and its 4th Commodore. Well, my life was the sea and the sea was my life, and there's not much separating the two of us. I guess Stephen Johnson said it best when he said, "When men come to like a sea life, they're not fit to live on land." Thank you.